to thank my cousin, my family. I want to thank Scott for his words and his memories. And over the last couple of years, I have had the honor and privilege of being able to minister to families in their time of need when they lose a loved one. But today, I stand before mine. And I don't just stand here as a minister. I stand here as a granddaughter. With so many memories that we'd be here a long time today, but we're not going to do that. But I do want to share a few things with you today as God would give me strength. And He has. But as I was thinking on what to say today, because Mamaw Beck wanted me to speak as a minister, one of the fellow ministers here today, and it's such an honor and a privilege to be able to do that for her. I got to thinking about that song I just sang. But I also got to thinking about, just as Scott was talking about, how she loved God. And how isn't it something that her and my papa lived on a narrow road? But you see, that's what it takes. It takes walking that straight and narrow to reach the streets of gold. Was every day always perfect? No. But at the end of the day, she loved God. She loved her family. And as I was thinking on that, I couldn't help but think about when Billy Graham passed away. They went back and they put out a quote where he said, "Someday you will read or hear that Billy Graham is dead. Don't you believe a word of it. I will have just changed my address. I will have gone into the presence of God." And I know Monday, at a little after 12 noon, as I stood in an ICU room with my mom and daddy, with my uncle, aunts, and other family, as I stood there holding her hand, as the soft, faint heartbeat of this life faded away, my, what a day that was for her. Because yes, she was with my papa again, but she got to see Jesus, the one who died for me and you and her. She got to touch his nail-scarred hands. And she got to know what it was like to be whole. And I couldn't help but think, on a little side note, her and my papa, as Scott said, our family just had that bond of, if we didn't pick at you, we don't love you. You think something's wrong if we ain't picking at each other. Well, her and my papa would jaw back and forth at one another about Dolly Parton and Conway Twitty. He'd say Dolly was his lady. She'd say, well, Conway's my man. So she loved Conway Twitty. And so I couldn't help but wonder if when my Mamaw Becky walked through heaven's gates and she saw Papa again, if he looked at her with opened arms and he softly said, "Hello, darling. Nice to see you. It's been a long time. You're just as lovely as you used to be." But you see, here, my heart rejoices in knowing that, and knowing that she's been reunited with him and our other loved ones and family that she's gone on to be with, and that she's in the very presence of God himself. But you see, my heart breaks, because right now, I and the rest of my family, we have to say just for a little while longer, goodbye, darling. Gotta go now. Gotta try to find a way to hold these memories of love so warm and true. And if you should ever find it in your heart, don't forget me. Wait for me, darling. I'll be coming home soon. And when I think about, I got so much more to go to heaven for than I did yesterday. Every day, every year, every hour that goes by, I just got one more reason to go home. And when I think about how she's got to see all those that we're all still longing to be reunited with, I told my mama the other day, I said, Mama, I said, I know she's seen my papa. I said, but I gotta believe that after she hugged him, that my Mamaw Gladys was standing there and she said, Rebecca, I just want to thank you for everything that you done for me. Thank you for helping Jimmy and loving him. Thank you for taking care of Mickey, Perry, and Roger. And thank you for loving my grandbabies and my great-grandbabies. Because I'm going to tell you something. As Scott said, she loved her boys. But if you got to be one of Becky's grandbabies, you got to be something. Because she loved her grandbabies. Summer and I and Autumn can testify that I don't know whether it was a good thing or not, but she found out we all had a desperate love for Welch's sparkling grape juice. And she would be sure she had us a special bottle of grape juice when we get together at Christmas up at the house. Scott's already talked about that pecan and peanut brittle. But I'm going to miss chocolate chip meringue cookies. Those were my favorite. And I had a picture sitting out on the table out here of an old blue Cadillac. And I know myself and some of the nieces and nephews and the other grandchildren can talk about old Big Blue. She would fuss at us when we got to be driving age. Y'all stop flying down your Mamaw and Papa Turner's drive so fast. But all of a sudden you'd hear the horn of that big old Cadillac toot. Sounded like a train coming. And you better get out of the way. Because when it come down that driveway, it was doing everything it could to hold on to all four wheels. You just knew it was going to raise up on two any minute, and it'd come to a screeching halt right there at the carport. I'm telling you, y'all better slow down. Yes, ma'am. And, you know, she was the boss lady, right? No doubt. I told him the other day, I said, you know, who am I going to pick on now and who's going to hit me? So watch out, you might be my next target. But she always took it with such grace. She would act like she wanted to beat us down. But then I'd see that smirk. And that arm would come around in that big old bear hug Scott talked about. She'd wrap her arms around me, and I'm telling y'all, I think I felt my shoulders pop more than once. She'd squeeze me so tight. And she'd say, you know Mamaw Becker loves you. I say, yes, ma'am. But heaven forbid, I don't know how we got all them pictures out there because she hated a camera. And my papa loved to take pictures. And then when Daddy got a video camera, that was her worst nightmare. You would see, I mean, it'd be great for all these social media things now like TikTok and all that. Because Daddy would catch her not paying attention at a get-together or Christmas or a birthday party, and he'd start zooming in real close. All of a sudden, she'd see he had that camera on her, and she'd holler out, Mickey, here she come, and y'all, the camera just We always joked and said we needed to get those and play the Jaws theme as you seen her approaching the lens. But like I said, I could go on and on, but one other thing I want to share real quick is I was blessed to be able to have so many road trips with her and my papa. I was able to visit places like Mamaw, Alabama, and if you don't know where that is, well, you're not missing a whole lot, because it's just about like Needham. You blink and you'll miss it. But I had the privilege of going and meeting a lot of new people because of them. We made trips to Louisiana, trips to Kentucky, Tennessee, been all over the place, and I can remember sitting right in the middle of the back seat, leaning up on the armrest, right in between, her driving and Papa in the passenger seat, just talking for hours as we drove down the road and laughing. Yes, she was a good woman. She was a godly woman. But she was Mamaw. And she's desperately going to be missed. And a lot of times I tell my families, this is not goodbyes, I'll see you later. And it is just an I'll see you later, Mamaw. But I found this little poem that I want to share as I close, because I don't have to hope. I know because I have hope that she's in the presence of God in heaven, enjoying its splendors today. Although you sleep in heaven now, you're not that far away. My heart is full of memories, and you're with me every day. You lived your life with meaning and with a smile upon your face. A world that was full of happiness is now an empty place. People say that only time will heal a broken heart. But just like me and you, Grandma, it is being torn apart. I know you are at peace now and in a place where you are free. Meet me at the pearly gates when heaven calls for me.